Okay, guys, we're going to get really serious here because I don't believe what I'm seeing out here. I actually don't believe what I'm seeing out here. Um, Let me get the name of the video. It appears to be the video, the Ministry of Grace, that Lovy put out. I'm dumbfounded. I'm truly dumbfounded by this guy, and I'm praying that somebody over there in that church with him will do the right thing by this guy. I don't understand how these people there can let him go online and let people all over the world see him and hear what he's saying, and they do nothing about it. They say nothing about it. And why do I believe that nothing is being done about it? Because Lovy keeps doing the same thing over and over again. And if these people that are there in that church really knew God and they weren't there to ride on his coattail to get rich, then they would leave. They would leave because what this guy is doing is totally demonic. And I want you all to have the truth. I'm going to put that video in this description also. This guy is sitting here and talking about how important it is to be humble. And I actually heard him when all this stuff was coming out with me, talking about the demonic powers they're using. He had some other guy that he was talking to, and the guy was like tripping all over his tongue to say how humble Lovy was. I'm like, what planet are these people from? What planet? This guy is the least humble person I've ever seen in my life. In this video, he's talking about that you must be humble. And what he's doing is talking about some pastor that he helped that did something that Lovy didn't like. And now he's saying that that other pastor should be humble. In other words, that pastor should have never went up against Lovy. That other pastor should have known his place. And this is what he was saying. Lovy actually says the words that he is humble, but he has risen to the top of where his brothers are. So he helps them all. In other words, as I've told you, this guy really believes he's God on earth. So he actually says in this video that he has risen to the top of all of his brothers. So he helps them. And this pastor, evidently, who he's speaking about, was saying something, don't tell Lovy because Lovy don't like competition. And he says, well, if I don't like competition, then why would I be helping apostles and prophets? He just helps everyone. And talks about being humble. He said he's only been to 2 churches in his life. And the first church is where he met the apostle at his church. He seems to care about that guy very much. And the question is, why does he care about this guy? Does this guy really have his back, or is this guy a yes man for him? Because if this guy really had his back, he would be telling him what he's doing is wrong. And he said he went to a second church, and he said he never preached in any of those churches. He did menial work there, and nobody ever knew all of his powers and what he was capable of. This guy's got such a fathead ego. How do his demons even allow him to say the word humble? How? I want you guys to truly understand what that word humble means, because it is of the utmost importance that you understand this and that you not take that definition from an egomaniac. Let's take a look at the word humble. What is humility in the Bible? The Bible defines humility as the fear of the Lord. Proverbs 22:4. Its etymological root is in the Latin word humus, which means of the earth. To be humble is to be face down in the dirt, submitting to the authority of another. So this is what Lovy was telling that other pastor. He should be face down in the dirt, submitting to Lovy. When actually it is Lovy who needs to be humble and be a servant to all. No one should ever be face down in the dirt to Lovy. That is not humility. That is arrogance. That is pride. Here. Means to be of the earth. To be humble is to be face down in the dirt, submitting to the authority of another without personal pride. This is the Christian's proper position before the Lord. Before the Lord. For we human beings on this planet to live with humility is to see each other, to see ourselves in relation to other people as not being better than anyone else or worse than anyone else. And to not see other people as being higher than us or lower than us. That is humility. Not that other people should kowtow and bow to us. That is not humility. That is arrogance. For someone to say that they are high above their brothers, and that's why they help, that's not humility. Sorry. This guy is an illiterate. He doesn't know what humility is. He doesn't know what humility is. And he's deceiving thousands of people out here. Another article, why is it important to stay humble? What is humility? Humility is the ability to view yourself accurately as an individual with talents as well as flaws, while being void of arrogance and low self-esteem. We're going to get to arrogance in a minute. Humility is not always acknowledged as a relevant trait to possess, but it is in fact a remarkable character strength. Humility isn't always seen as a strength, but sometimes thought of as a weakness. Some believe that humility is having low opinions of yourself, low self-esteem, and a lack of confidence. It is in fact the opposite. Humility is having the self-esteem to understand that even though you are doing well, you do not have to brag or gloat about it. And do you understand that this guy literally says he's God on earth, that he commands the angels. He brags about his mansion, his Lamborghini, his fleet of expensive cars, his expensive clothes, his Rolex watch. He brags all the time about he's so wealthy. He's not worried about you sending your money in, which is an absolute lie. Because you will even see, even now with this teaching on humility, there's always at the end before he finishes, send him your money. He can never do a teaching without you sending him your money. There is no humility in this guy whatsoever. Now, this article that I'm reading is from Very Well Mind. So this is not a Christian or spiritual article. This is from the world. This is why it says humility is not always acknowledged as a relevant trait to possess, but in fact is a remarkable character strength. So this is how the world views humility, not how the spirit realm views humility, not how God views humility. Now, here's a Google search. What is self-righteousness? Having or characterized by a certainty, especially an unfounded one, that one is totally correct or morally superior. And if you watch this video, you will see this disgusting self-righteousness pouring out all over this guy. As he tells, he went to 2 churches, he sat and did menial work, and nobody knew about his powers. The left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. Well, he had taken that out of context. The Lord spoke about that as that you should not let everyone see that you are giving to people and helping charity, which is everything he did in this video, talking about how he helps everyone. But then he goes and says the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing in relation to him doing menial jobs in the church and not letting people see all of his powers. Okay? Twisting of the gospel. What is arrogance? An attitude of superiority manifested in an overbearing manner or in presumptuous claims or assumptions. And listen, you know what, you guys, I'm really worried about people out here on this internet. There is so much darkness out here. I'm really worried about you people. I want you to know that every single person out here with a huge page has got a massive ego, and they're living in self-righteousness and arrogance, and the furthest thing from humility. Here, arrogance, an attitude of superiority manifested in an overbearing manner or in presumptuous claims or assumptions. Presumptuous claims or assumptions. I am at the top of all of my brothers, which is why I help them all. And this pastor who did something that Lovy didn't like should know his place. He should be bowing down to Lovy because Lovy's at the top of all his brothers. This is pure arrogance. This is pure arrogance. And also it fits in an attitude of superiority manifested in an overbearing manner. Speaking about all of his millions, or his mansion, his fleet of expensive cars, his Rolex, his Lamborghini, his expensive clothes. There's nothing about this guy that says humility. And this guy thinks, and you can hear how he's speaking in here. You can tell he's a Buddha. He thinks by speaking softly and monotone that means that you are something. No, it's a show. It's a show. Because none of it is real. And all this guy says is people who really know me, people who really know him are hanging on his coattails because they either want his powers or for him to use his powers on them, or they want to ride his coattail to get as rich as he is. So they're all yes men around him. People who know him. People who know him know he's not anything he's talking about. That's what the people who know him know. There's an article here by the Times Record News. It said Jesus spoke about our spiritual blind spot. This guy has got a massive blind spot. And this is what I'm so baffled by. Why isn't this apostle who he seems to be very fond of, why isn't this apostle speaking to him about what a jerk he's making out of himself? Does Lovy really think people are so stupid that they don't know what humility, arrogance, self-righteousness is? That he can put this garbage out here on the internet and people are just going to buy this crap? Why would his people around him allow him to do this to himself? If they care about him, why would they allow him to do this to himself? Not to mention the thousands of people that he's misleading out here. And he thinks by speaking in a monotone voice like a Buddha, that makes him something special. It makes him a deceiver. That's what it makes him. He's covered under the dragon. Jesus spoke about our spiritual blind spot. And this is exactly what this is. If this guy truly thinks he's humble, then he's got a massive blind spot going on here. We think that we can see all things clearly. We believe that we have a full field of vision. But the truth is that we are unable to see some of the most important elements of life and reality. We are blinded by our prejudice and presumptions. We assume we have no prejudice. Other people may be prejudiced, but not us. We assume we see all things objectively, but do we? Jesus said, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?" Well, Lovy doesn't have a plank in his own eye. He has a whole house in his own eye that he can't see what he's saying and what he's doing out here. He has a whole house built out of wood in his eye. That's what he has. How can you say to your brother, "Let me take the speck out of your eye," when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the house out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Matthew 7, 3-5. Jesus often told simple stories so that we might see our spiritual blind spot and understand the important lessons of life. Jesus said, "This is why I speak in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand." And this is this guy. He thinks he's some big spiritual something or other, that Moses and Elijah came and took him out of his body, that he's God on earth. He commands the angels. And he said something else in here that just about floored me. He said, "Why do you think I kneel in the beginning of the service?" He said, it's not to make people think that it looks good. He said something, and I'm paraphrasing here. He said something to the effect to make the people believe that he still needed God. And it sounded so fake and phony. I sure didn't believe what he said. And I thoroughly believe that he didn't believe what he said either. Because of the words that he used, it didn't come from the heart. That was easy to tell. There's nothing this guy says that's humble. Nothing. Why are his people letting him destroy himself like this? Why? Well, I told him that God was getting ready to bring it to him. This may be it. I don't know. This may be it. And he's on here talking about God doesn't give powers to the pride. He's not getting his powers from God. He's getting his powers from darkness, not from the light. Because people from the light don't behave like him. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. Matthew 13, 13. That was a very short one. So you guys, I want you to understand, you have got to do your own research, look up the meaning of these simple words. And I don't care how many different places you got to look it up until you finally can fully understand it and not take anyone out here's word for anything. Because I'm telling you, this is all an act. It's all a mask. These people are full of pride and arrogance and ego, and they're using dark powers, and they're literally out here saying they're higher than their brothers. They're higher than all of the other Christians. They're higher. This is what this guy just said. He's higher than all the other Christians. So this is why he helps them. I'm shocked by what I heard. I shouldn't be shocked. Nothing should shock me anymore. But I was shocked by what I heard in this video. I worry for you people out here. I worry for you. I know what I went through when I was a sleeper, and I'm still going through it. I don't want you guys to have to go through this. You've got to start waking up and stop idolizing these liars out here, these deceivers and manipulators out here. You've got to stop idolizing these people. The fact that you're idolizing them should be your first clue that it's not of God. Anyone who holds themselves above all of their brothers, who has made the statements that this guy has made out here, you people should be running the other way. This guy is not operating from the light at all. No matter what kind of monotone voice he wants to speak in, he's not operating from the light at all. You could go and watch any Hindu guru, any Buddhist priest over there, listen to them all with the monotone voice, and they're all operating from the dragon, which is where this guy is operating from, which is where Daniel Adams is operating from. No matter how many pictures of Jesus he wants to plaster on the internet, it's all deception. It's black magic. You guys better be very, very careful. These demons are real. These demons are real. Oh, the other thing I want to tell you, I saw the video that Signorelli put out with the astrologer. What was he? Astrophysicist. I would like to be the first to tell you, the astrophysicist only repeated everything I was out here telling you. Do you understand? I'm not bragging on myself. I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit has been giving me this information from the Spirit this entire time, and these people have been out here calling me a demon. The brutality of what these people have done out here, and then they have the audacity to sit and call themselves God and they are above everybody. Well, it explains why they are so brutal, because they're in total darkness. Why they form cliques, because like has to associate with like. Darkness will associate with darkness. Darkness cannot associate with light. Understand that every single solitary thing I have ever said out here was God's truth. And I want you to protect yourself. And the way you do that is you've got to get in that Bible and know God's word. And you've got to be in prayer. And you've got to build that personal relationship. Stop idolizing these demon slayers. Stop idolizing these signs and wonders, these demonic powers. Stop. Stop. You've got to have a personal relationship with the Lord. And I hope that you'll all stay safe out here. I'm going to end this now.